Hi everybody, Armine Bazikyan here from Bazikyan Law Group. We are a firm exclusively practicing in the areas of trust and probate administration, estate planning, as well as asset protection. This video is the second video in a two-part series on limited liability companies. Last month we discussed the topic of what is a limited liability company and why do people utilize it in their business forms. And this month we're actually going to be discussing the topic of what happens to your LLC or limited liability company interest when you have passed away. And this is a very important question, and I'd like to address it in the format of the same example we used in the previous video. So as we discussed last month, we used the example of John and his dog grooming business. So John established an LLC to do business as a dog groomer, and he did so because he wanted to provide some liability protection for himself personally. So he wanted to segregate his business venture from his personal assets. And it's always important, obviously, to not only file the paperwork with the Secretary of State to set it up, but to contact our office so we can help you establish the proper operating agreement that has the requisite legal provisions to provide you with that liability protection. So assuming that John set up the LLC, had the operating agreement in place, he got all the great perks of having that liability protection, and then he passed away and he had a wife and kids. What is actually going to happen to his dog grooming business? Because the dog grooming business is owned by this LLC. And then John is a member of this LLC. So what exactly would happen? Well, if John did not integrate his LLC membership interest into his estate plan, assuming he had one, then his membership interest is actually going to go through this probate process that we've spoken about in previous videos. It is no different from owning a home. So it is an asset just like every other asset that you may have. So it's very similar to owning a home. It would go through this probate process, and it would come out the other side, going to his beneficiaries. But the length of this probate process being, 1 to 2 years, extremely expensive, like we've talked about in previous videos, and it being a business interest is going to actually cause a lot of interruptions in his business. So let's play it out and see what would actually happen. John passes away, and he had a dog grooming business, and he held it in an LLC. In order for his wife to actually gain control of that LLC bank account, she's going to need what's called letters from the court that are going to give her permission to actually access this account. So before anyone actually steps in to actually run this business and continue doing what John had been doing, she's actually going to have to go out, ask a judge to give her approval. And that process alone takes anywhere from 2 to 3 months nowadays. With the current inundation in the court system, that's just how long things are taking. It's being prolonged longer than normal. So it's going to take her about 2 to 3 months to actually get that piece of paper that the bank is going to accept to be able to go in and do what she needs to do with that checking account that's in the business name to write off all the bills that John had and whatnot. And then it's going to be this long, drawn-out probate process that's going to cause other interruptions in the business. The main takeaway from this is that you want your business to run smoothly after you're gone. But if you don't have the proper estate plan in place that takes into account your LLC interest, there are going to be several hiccups and interruptions along the way for your successors, your family, or whoever is inheriting this business from you. So if you do have an LLC in place, or you are thinking about putting together a business, going into business and making it an LLC, please be sure to consult with our office, and we can help you integrate your LLC interest with your personal estate plan so that you can avoid the probate process completely. So it's a very, complicated process that we want to avoid at all costs, and it's of course very expensive. So if you fall within one of those two categories, or you have an estate plan and you don't know whether or not your LLC and your estate plan kind of work together, feel free to call our office. I'd be happy to sit down with you, review everything that you have, and let you know what needs to be done. So if you like this video, feel free to share it with someone that you think might find it useful as well. Other than that, we will see you next month for our next month's video. Bye-bye.